Alright friends, time to discuss some topical issue. I'm going to be talking about Pointercrate. And I actually quite like Pointercrate. I mean, contrary to being a Wowen subscriber, I think that actually it's pretty cool. I mean, Geometry Dash at its fundamental level is like a monkey brain game where you click button and jump over spike. And Pointercrate's just sort of like, the natural evolution of that. It's seeing who can click the button the hardest to jump over the weirdest spikes. And I should probably make this clear, this is merely a vehicle to clickbait my opinions. This is not about spaceuk at all. I think that entire scandal has its own unresolved issues, which people smarter than me have said in better ways. But fundamentally, I want to make it clear that I think Pointercrate is really cool, but I do have some problems with the system, and I'm going to talk about it, because as a creator, I think it's probably the one that, matters to me the most. And it's realistically just that the Pointercrate rules are a bit stupid, hey? I mean, like, the idea that it has to use the in-game rating system for a level to be top 1 is just dumb. Because, fundamentally, what it leads to is a whole lot of top 1s being completely delayed in terms of their placement, because they can't realistically be placed because RobTop never moderates his game. But also, more aptly, most extreme demons just aren't rate-worthy, which is sort of a multifaceted issue. I mean, it means that plenty of levels which would place on the list simply don't because they look ugly as hell, like that happened with Thinking Space for like a couple of years. And it also means that plenty of completely pointlessly, like, objectively not great-looking levels, like Acheron, which is currently top 1, are also rated. Which is a bit ridiculous, because if someone put that together but it was like an easy demon, it would be considered a pretty amateur project. That's no hate to the creators, it's just what happens when you build something in like a 1.90 style. So I think fundamentally it just leads to a couple issues. And so, I guess the main argument that Pointercrate uses to use the in-game ratings is, like, especially during Bloodbath era, there were, like, so many remakes of that. Like, Greenbath existed, whatever it was called. But, like, the problem with that is obviously that then you have, like, an entire top 50 which is populated by remakes of one level. But, like, put simply, that problem can very much be avoided by just making a different rating system. You don't need to use Rob's rating system. I think that Pointercrate, as a moderation team, can just vote on what they think passes as an original and quality enough level. Basic requirements like the fact that, it's like a full-length level. The stuff that they already use to differentiate challenges from regular gameplay, so that it's not just, UFMW, UFWM, putting the same 50 waves in a row just for a shot at 150, which would be very funny, but, perhaps anti-competitive. Or, the idea that it would need basic deco, that sort of thing, basic structure and themes and everything. And so having a built-in Pointercrate rating system would stop all the time delays for things to get rated after they're verified, because Pointercrate themselves could decide, and then by the time it's ready to be rated, when the moderation team has made a choice, it can immediately be posted. And, it just stops levels being, like, clogged. I mean, like, come on. People who browse on the, like, rated tab get a pretty conflated view, especially if, with the rate that hard levels are coming out. Because, frankly, it just kind of gets in the way, and it ruins the fundamental rating system as it's supposed to be. So, yeah, I think there are some issues with this. I mean, number one is that, like, if you wanted to have something like decoration as a basic requirement, conical depression literally exists as a rated level, which is super funny to me. But, like, you have stuff like conical depression, which could technically pass. And plenty of people don't want the list to just be layouts. And, not to mention, the list is just a bunch of teenage volunteers. I mean, there's not much time for, like, perhaps bureaucracy. Even though, I think it could go along with the rating process, and this is sort of what I'm moving to, why I don't think that those are big complaints. I mean, like, fundamentally, I think the rating process itself, like, using player opinions after the level's been verified to get a rough placement, and then, waiting for more attempts on it to get an idea. I think that could also very easily include a section where there's just some basic discussion about whether or not it's a unique enough level to go on the list. And you know what? You can say to that it would bring up a whole lot more levels that would need to be decided upon. And you know what? At that point, yeah, fair play. I mean, like, they don't have time. They don't have time. I don't know how the list functions. I don't know if they have that kind of time because I'm not a part of the team. I guess we could hope that, like, Rob would actually implement a rating system into his game for hard levels, but it's Rob Top, who hasn't touched that game in forever. So I don't think that that's going to do much. But, kind of shifting back, though, I think I'm also still fundamentally apprehensive of the whole rating idea. I understand why you don't want copies to be around, or you don't want what is essentially a challenge level, like a consistency challenge being rated. But something like a layout, right? Fundamentally, why does it matter if the list is made up of layouts? Because it's about the hardest level, not the hardest level. It has some, red glow and brick pieces added to the blocks. So, frankly, I think that that's not really an issue. I do think that overall, I would like to see a new rating system in place. I think it would be very quality for the list if they just included something as basic as that to at the very least speed up the process before Rob makes the final decision by rating or not rating something. They could set, like, a week buffer after they decide where it roughly places, or at the very least keep an unrated level list moderated, because frankly, it's a bit ridiculous that we place the difficulty of levels based kind of not even on the level themselves, but based on whether or not the guy who hasn't updated his game in like 8 years or something at this point can be bothered to get on and rate something which looks like it was made by someone like 8 years ago. I just think that generally Pointercrate is a bit of a messy institution, and I think that it's one of their worst rules, and that fixing it would be for the better. Also, don't cheat. spaceuk is cringe.